Hi everyone, it's Anna with Pink Monarch Prints, and I am very excited for this video. I have been kind of wanting to try this for a while, so I decided this would be a great time. But I've been looking for a fun way to do a journal that is zero sewing, but is gonna have a little extra pizzazz to it. And I finally settled on these 8x8 craft journals. This one came in a 3-pack. I got it on Amazon. I'll link it down below, but let me just show you here. They come and they have these photo corners. They're a heavy cardstock cover, and then these are a fairly lightweight but decently heavier than copy paper. And it has tons of pages, way more than I want to make in my journal. So I ended up ripping out probably about half of the pages to use to make some interactive designs. So if you want to try this out, I'll link everything below and you can get some coming to you. I want to say it was maybe $14 for 3. So I don't know, I'll link it below and then double check. And the prices could change anyway, but let's go ahead and get going. So I'll be using the Amaze subscription kit from 2025. So I will link that below too if you want to do the exact patterns and different ephemera that I'm going to be adding, and you want to look at all the other playlists from that, because there's tons of videos that I'm going to make with this kit. So this is just one to get us started on our journal. This is going to end up being definitely an alligator mouth journal. I am 100% okay with that. But if you're not, this might not be the style of journal for you. But if you want something where you don't have to sew or do any stitching or anything like that, this is perfect. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through the different pages and how I'm going to be putting them together, give you some general ideas, put it together, and then we'll be filling our journal. So I bet I used probably 15 to 20 pages of 8.5 by 11 patterned paper from different kits. That mine all happened to be from the May kit. But anyway, it was kind of nice because even though I couldn't completely cover, I thought I can at least add some that coordinates with this half to bring it together. And then when I come in later on and add some of the ephemera that I've been making to go with it, like I could add this, then this piece here gives a really nice backdrop to add that. So that's why I've done that, and that way I didn't have to use quite as many papers. So I'll probably just run you through it, and then I'll come back through and put it all together and speed that part up. All right, so I wanted some big pockets, so that's why I left these two completely blank. I'm just gonna glue up the sides like so. I think I did 3 of these. And then go ahead and line those up as perfectly as I can. One of these I already made, so you didn't have to watch the whole process, and then whichever size you want, you can add a punch. You could do 2 or 3 in a row, whatever you want. I'll probably just do all mine in the center. So I'm just eyeballing that. I always do a little less because it's easier to take away more, but you can't add it back once you punch it out. So that's 1.5 inch size punch if you're curious, but of course you don't have to do it the same. Now you might notice that this could be annoying how it runs into that. So an easy way I found to do that is I just get a pencil, center it up from top to bottom here, and then put a little mark. And then I just start taking out a little at a time and see when it gets to where I like it. That was not super centered, but that's okay. So I feel like I want a little more of that out. Let's try that. And that will be good. So now I have this pocket here. I can just put a big piece of ephemera or a big tag, whatever I want. All right, so let's keep moving on. This page is just going to be a plain one. And this is where the fun happens with these journals, because I tore out tons of pages. They look like this. I've taken them and manipulated them by cutting, or however you decide. You can do a million different things, but I've made this into a flip out. So all I did was trim that down right here. So I just trimmed the paper, folded it, and glued it down to the edge of that page. And then I've put this paper over it so you can't see. And then I have cut paper to size for wherever I want to cover. And it's nice because you're gonna have leftover scraps, so you can do something really fun like, and very easy like this. So that now, imagine when I come in with my ephemera to add to this, I'm gonna have that extra fun layer behind it. So anyway, that's one. I used a corner punch here. Nothing too flashy, nothing too special. But it's going to be when I add everything in. Let me get me back in frame there. Okay, so here's another one I wanted to show. This was just, all of these I cut to about 7 1/8 by 7 inches, something like that is about what it ends up being. But obviously if your book's a little different, you'll have to measure it for your book. But I had some coffee paper I wanted to use, and then with a leftover strip from this one, I'm gonna just add some decorations. So I could put just a simple cluster here or something later on. Let's keep working through. All right, just a paper here that's gonna be glued in. And then with the paper I have torn out, I went ahead and just made a flip. So obviously I'm not gonna give measurements. I feel like you can make it any size that you like. But anyway, just an easy, fun way to use up those papers that you took out and make this journal interactive. Just some extra papers here. This is just one that I already did earlier, a pocket here. And I trimmed that little extra piece off there. Here's another idea. I'll put this one together on camera so you can see. So some of them you're gonna wanna use your paper to hide a flap. Like if I wanted to hide that underneath the paper, I could, but for what I'm using it for, I don't need to. But I thought it'd be fun to make like a little accordion pull out. But because the papers are not long enough to do in thirds for what I wanted, then I made two. So these are each exactly the same size, folded in half, and then I'm just gonna accordion them. So how I'm gonna do that is just glue right on one of those panels very thoroughly. And then I'm just gonna put that into that crease there. The hardest part is gonna be lining it up. All right, there we go. So now I'm gonna have an accordion. I'm gonna glue that straight into my journal. All right, so there's that one. And again, that will just be a flip out. You'll have this side and that side that you can add journaling. All right, this is just a simple 2-page spread that we'll be adding some pockets and fun things. I haven't really even done anything with this one yet. I didn't even cut papers for it, but I'm gonna just leave it as a simple flip up flap. So we'll come back through and you'll see that when I do the final walkthrough in a while. This is a simple tuck. So I just had a scrap, I decorated an edge, and now I'm going to turn that into a very easy side tuck using this. And now that I think about it, I want to cut my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that on camera, because I want it to go under that tuck. So, like I said, they're about 7 inches by 7 and a bit. A lot of them I inked the edges, but you don't have to. All right, so there's that spread. Obviously, I'll be coming back through and adding extras and stuff to the front of this, but right now that's our main journal spread. We've got another, and then this one has some interactive pieces. So I wanted to show you how I would hook that on the back of the main page. So I'm going to go ahead and decide where I want these. I think I like that kind of a layout. So I have my main page ready. I'm going to get a good amount of glue, but not too thick so it comes through my paper. And then I want to line it up with that. So it'll go right around there. All right, there we go. And so then obviously I'll be adding some coordinating paper over the tops of these and making it very pretty. So we'll leave it like that for now, and then you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. Now on this one, I did want it fully covered. So I just wanted to show the idea that you can use 2 pieces, 2 scraps to make a full coverage. Super easy. All right, this one's going to end up being a waterfall. So again, these are just scraps from the book. And I'll show you how that's going to come together. So really, this is just showing you some easy ideas to make a very simple journal interactive and ready for you to add all of your pretty creations from your kit or whatever you use. And I didn't know how many waterfalls I wanted for sure. So I just made a bunch, and we'll just start and then see how far we get. But we start at the top. I'll center mine, I usually do with waterfalls, and then I'll just go for it. All right, I'm gonna stop there. But now that's ready for me to add papers to, and then pockets and things like that. So that'll be really fun to decorate. If I wanted, I could come in with my paper corner rounder and round these corners, which I probably will, because I've been rounding out almost all the corners. I like the look of it in this type of a journal. All right, these are just gonna be some papers glued down. This one is a paper, and then this is going to just be 2 flaps that come down like this and flip up like this. So little doors. So let's go ahead and assemble that one just so you can see how I use the leftover paper on this one. So I just cut these papers a hair smaller than my paper, my craft paper. And I kind of had fun trying to coordinate with the 2 halves of it. I think that when I start adding in all the ephemera, that'll give it a really cohesive look. So I'm just gonna center those up. And you can make these any size you want. Really, you've got tons of leftover craft paper. At least I do, because like I said, I ripped out a good amount. And that's just because I want to feel really free to add whatever I want to the pages that I do have. So I didn't want to make it too super thick. I'm going to stick this a little more toward the outside. And I just cut this paper to the width of how tall these were so that they would meet here in the middle. So you don't have to do that, but that was how I decided to. You could have a gap if you want, or I mean, really, with the things you can build to interact with this, the possibilities are completely endless. The things that you can add with your leftover craft paper. All right, so that is ready for us to embellish. And let me see if I have any more interactive pages to show you. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go through now and glue in all the other pages. I'll speed that up so you don't have to watch all of that. And then I'll kind of give you the final run through. All right, we are all done. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick run through of what we did. We are now ready to start adding our ephemera, and I'll show you kind of some examples as I'm going through, just so you can get a feel for what this is going to look like. I have a really awesome cover all designed and ready, but I think I'm going to make it its own video because this is a long one. But anyway, very easy. Right now it's not alligatory, but it is gonna be, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right, so we have the inside cover, and then we start out, we're gonna be doing some stuff here. Like we could put one of our belly bands and put something behind there. That's an idea. We could put a big tag in here or a journaling card. And we have another, just a simple, easy page this is going to be a great place. I'll just keep a few of these on hand so you can kind of see, but we just have simple corner tucks that we could add here, or that would be really pretty here too. This flips open. We'll probably get some more paper here, maybe some more. I'm going to back you up a little bit. There we go. Maybe not. Anyway, so we'll add some more stuff in here, embellish that. We could leave that as journaling, or we could add some more decoration. We have this page with this flip up right here. Some decoration. We have another giant pocket here. I believe I did 3. And then we have our accordion fold out for some fun embellishment. I'm excited to play with that. These 2 pages, we have this flip out. I thought it would be fun to put one of these in the middle. So if you had like a big pocket and you wanted to put it in there, that would kind of just be a nice thing to have behind it. We have this tuck here. That's just a simple tuck spot. Journaling cards, tags, you name it. Oh, I didn't add papers on here. I'll do that. I'll do that for the end. But these are 2 just flip outs and they can go in any order. I like the big one on top. We've got one more pocket right here. And then we have our waterfall, our wonky waterfall, but it's straight like that. So that is my mistake. I must not have held them very still when I scored them. Some more to add in. Let's see, what's another fun example? Oh, we have this fun fold out. So that would be a fun one to go on there. But you can see how it's going to be so easy to add the final touches to this. These are going to be some flip ups that we're going to embellish. And then we've got our last page. And we could do something here too if we wanted. But anyway, it's going to be really pretty. I'm super excited to get this one going. I hope you are too. Again, I'll put all those links for you down below. Hopefully this will be something that for some of those that may not want to sew in signatures or things like that, this will be an easy way to get a very fun, vintagey looking journal. So anyway, we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.